week that was. Oh, thank you, Madhusudan Rao Garu, for joining in. We are now discussing about the week that was, and this is regarding the October 28th. I just discussed about what happened on Saturday. Now we're going to Friday. This 28th of October. The riddle was for 70 credits, and it was quite easy, but I think it was not mentioned by many people. Unique as an antibacterial, made of different material, no fungal origin, more like a queen, microbes decimate for real. This is about linzolid. This linzolid is actually a drug which we usually use for MRSA and even otherwise for staphylococcal infections and for other infections. And nowadays it's being used for MDR-TB, that means multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. So this is about the riddle. And then what are imaginary numbers? Of course, you may wonder what maths has to do with health, but unless we understand the basics of math, physics, chemistry, etc., we can't understand the latest knowledge that's coming in. And again, how do bacteria move? This is an important question, which may be in fact relevant clinically also, because how do bacteria actually invade the system and cause disease? So there have been a lot of comments, and the best comment went to Dr. Madhusudan Rao Garu, as usual. And the next post was about legal hassles. This is another new feature that has started in daily features. This is something to do with our occupation. That is, we always carry hazards of getting sued by litigant patients, and this is a waste of time as well as energy. And unfortunately, we've seen the case of USA, which Dr. Sheshagiri Rao Garu himself has accepted that's not the best model to imitate, and doctors being kept in the purview of consumer forum, etc., is probably not right. And some people disagree on this, and overall the doctor's opinion is that they should not be doing. And then there was this picture of a girl or a woman with a mask and COVID vaccine and other things, like a Durga, and on occasion of Deepavali and Vijayadashmi. So many people have written so many comments about this figure, how to describe this. Initially it was caption contest, now it is describe the pic so that it can be more verbal and include poems also. Beautiful poems were written. I cannot understand most of them, and some of them, especially by Mamillapalli Vijayalakshmi, is really great. That I was impressed by this. Karuna Kena Inka Edaina Pramadakaramaina Rogamaina Kani Katitu Kaniche Kalika విధ్వంసం చేసే మహిషాసుర మర్దని లోకాల ప్రజలను రక్షించి పాత్రించే ధన్వంతరి ఇలలోకంలోని ప్రత్యక్ష దైవం వైద్యుడు కాక ఇంకెవరు వైద్యో నారాయణో హరి. It was a great reply by Mamillapalli Vijayalakshmi, and even Devaki Garu also commented that it was such a beautifully written poem. The rhythm of the poem is excellent, and it was a heartfelt poem, and Mamillapalli gets the prize for this. And so we have excellent members who are great poets. And also then there was a question of whether people should be admitted in a mental hospital or not, even insane people, so-called mental asylums. Of late, for the past 30-40 years, the thinking is that there's no need for institutionalization of mental patients. But again, there's a rethink on this. So I've again started another feature called Mind Matters. Just like money matters, mind also matters. So regarding some features of Mind Matters, these will not recur every day, but sometimes I choose some of the topics which are relevant. Then the issue about high BICU bills especially, and the appearance and disappearance of ICUs, etc. To some extent, doctors are to be blamed. I don't deny that. But unfortunately, many hospitals get bad name because of this. And the good name that they get because the few patients that we save is nullified by the bad propaganda about this. Then regard for the daily quiz, it introduced a new antibiotic called telavancin, which is actually a derivative of vancomycin, which is used in MRSA infection, that is methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus infections, which are common in the ICU. So I asked a few questions about antibiotics, and again, I think the winner was, let me see who the winner was this time. Anyway, and then there was the humor corner in which about intensive care units, and there are so many comments, more than 30 of them, 25 comments, and the best comment went to Bharadwaj Patibanda. I think it's a very funny and hilarious comment that he made. Then the next day, that is on October 27th, the previous day, we're going from Saturday to Friday, Friday to Thursday, Thursday to Wednesday, in retrograde fashion. This medical riddle is about the Langerhans giant cells. Langerhans giant cells are large cells found in granulomatous conditions, which like tuberculosis, sarcoidosis, etc. And the correct answer was given by some people, but I think many people didn't get it. Larger forms of the large eaters. That means a large eater is macrophage. That is, large means macro and eater means phage. So large eaters means macrophages. Larger forms of the macrophage. The macrophages actually fuse together to form a bigger cell with multiple nuclei, and these are formed by fusion and not by fission. And DC stamped. DC stamp is a technical word which because most of these are actually they are attached to a molecule called DC stamp, and if it is like that, then no one can eat such a big eater, and it is actually supposed to be protective and helpful in getting rid of tuberculosis infection. Then there is this issue of back to basics. Why can't we give intravenous oxygen? So a discussion was made about how we can practically use IV oxygen, and then reason why fish die when there is a lot of oxygen around. The real reason was actually given by Jalil Sheikh Mohammed, the winner of today. He has come out with the explanation that gills actually collapse during as soon as they are out of water, because water keeps them apart. This is the actual reason. Many people may not be realizing that this is the reason why fish can't breathe the air. Actually, air is quite abundant in the atmosphere. It's more abundant in the atmosphere than the water, but still fish die. But why do they die? The real reason is because the gills collapse. That means individual filaments within the gills, they cannot be held together. And of course, we're given a beautiful painting for which a lot of comments were made, and then a daily spotter of a CT scan of a lung, in which you see some web-like structures in the area near the heart and also pericardial effusion, and various possibilities and diagnostics have been made, and all the findings were best described by Girish Bhaskar, our physician, actually a pulmonologist from Florida, USA, and he gets the credits. Thank you, sir, for participating in these credits and these events. And there's a brain tweezer also. What bird is always out of breath? The real, the official answer is of course the puffing, something like that. But a lot of other ideas have been mentioned, like ladybird, and then and then there's one angry bird. It's also always out of breath. And then so many other alternative ideas have been put forward. The basic assumption is to bring out the best among our members, because I know our members are very creative and they can come out with answers which are not imaginable. Hello Sharma Kunda, it is very nice to see your comment on this place on our Facebook Live. Dr. Sharma is from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, is a red Indian place or what? Okay, I am very glad that Sharma has joined our group, our discussion, and Chaganti Vishwanath and Venkateshan Srinivasan sir. They're all in the something they've written in the comment section, and then I'm really glad that you people are with us. I'd like to. I'm sorry, my speaker is not working. Sharma Garu, I'm sorry. I think you should increase the volume or something. Or is it my volume is not correct? Am I audible? I hope I am audible. Okay, then we're going to the next section of the daily quiz. That is saracatinib. This is a new drug which was introduced for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. So there was a discussion about what is idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. I mean, daily, the basic concept is, first I choose the what's called the basic medical feature that is for that day. That means the latest clinical development or whatever happened the past week in during that time, and then based on that as a theme, we have the humor corner where there are some humorous comments made, and the best comment is again given 50 credits, and then we have a comment corner, and then we have other comments, and whoever gets the best prize, best comment, etc., is given 50 credits, and we add all of them up, and at the end of the week, whoever gets the topmost credits will get the cash prize. That is the idea. So we were discussing about the various posts that were the important posts that were put, and in the clinical quiz, Girish Bhaskar was the topper with 58 points, and next came Vimala Pupuri, and then came Madhusudan Rao. The clinical quiz is based on a series of images, and there's some jokes also, and medical riddle of on October 25th, I think. What is this? I am always single, never ever mingle. I carry oxygen and milk, unlike others of my ilk. This is actually an umbilical vein which carries the good blood to the fetus. And then there was a picture of some posts which were regarding the positronium, the new element which is put. హలో మళ్ళీ చేస్తాము ఏంటి మళ్ళీ చేస్తాం ఎంతసేపు అయినా ఒక నిమిషం. There is a call from the inpatient. Yeah. So I'm glad so many. Yeah, I'm audible. Okay. I'm audible to Sharma ji also. Good, good. So regarding the post that we about the back to basics and biology section, I wanted to ask about how do mushrooms appear within one day? It rains and suddenly there. And is it magic? And why are they called magic mushrooms? Of course, this is not why they're called magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms are because of the special chemical called psilocybin, it seems, which has sometimes been approved in some areas for treatment of psychiatric disorders. So that was the post on that particular day. And then of course there was a photograph of a mother and child, because that day I think the discussion was about postpartum cardiomyopathy. So there are so many comments again about this picture, and I think Madhusudan Rao got the first prize for this. And then I sometimes give locations where you just to find out what. This is also to increase the zeal for travel, because I always like travel, and travel is one of the healthy signs or wellness. This is part of the wellness part of healthy also, because going around places makes your mind broaden. I mean, broadens your mind, and you get to know a lot of things, a lot of people, and horizon of your knowledge is expanded. So this particular view is of in a train from Guwahati to Jorhat, which we took. And then there was a daily spotter in which this ultrasound is a difficult thing. You see head of fetus and placenta which has got ruptured. This is abruptio placentae, and it has been given correctly by Madhusudan Rao Garu, and again he got the marks for this. A comment on why are more and more people all over the world reluctant to have children, because this is a very current topic, because many people now, especially even after they're married for 10 years, they put their career ahead of their family. They don't want to have a family actually, many of them. And people have given their own views. People are changing, their minds are changing. People are no longer interested in and reproducing. That means, and also maybe they're thinking that they can adopt somebody, and there are some people who say that there's no point in giving rise to children who are again to a damaged earth. That means because of the pollution, etc., and a possible third world war. I hope it's not going to be there in the next few years at least. And then there are we paying enough for our junior doctors? We want justice. Many people are on strike these days, and I agree that most of the doctors are underpaid, and I think the government should consider paying doctors in general, and especially junior doctors, because they really do a lot of work, and most of the consultants only just sit there and advise. So these doctors should be paid well. And the main topic for that day was about postpartum depression. A new drug called PRI 296. A single injection can reduce this postpartum depression. It's an extreme mood disorder which occurs after the baby is born. And although the psychodynamics are not clearly known, the injection has come as a cure for this. And now we have the daily clinical questions. This first, when again I'm going from the irrespective of the order. One was about the OCT, that is optical coherence tomography. This is our retina, and you see the retinal edema is there, and this is a sign of macular edema and macular degeneration. And many people have answered this question. And then there is another interesting CT scan spotter, where you can see a lot of blood vessels within the liver, and also blood vessels outside the chest wall. And this is a case of superior vena cava obstruction due to probably malignancy. And you can see these are all collaterals connecting the upper part of the body to the lower part of the body, because the superior vena cava is blocked. So, and then we had a CT scan of sagittal coronal section, where there are a lot of big pheochromocytoma sitting on the right side. There's another one on the left side also, bilateral pheochromocytoma, and the right one is actually pressing on the renal artery and making the right kidney smaller. So this was answered correctly by our great clinician Madhusudan Garu, and also Akhil Pahade. There's another CT scan which is actually from my archives, and this actually shows a patient who is fluid overloaded, his overload is not due to heart but because of renal problems. And you can see the edema of the liver, edema of the, there's pericardial effusion, and there are pulmonary edema. And then there's a report of what is called DLCO. That means what is the diffusion lung capacity of carbon monoxide. This is a type of test which will tell you whether the alveocapillary junction is correct when it is in place or is intact or not. In this case, DLC was very high. Then there was an X-ray which showed bilateral hilar adenopathy with popcorn calcification. And this is very well described by Girish Bhaskar, and Dr. Girish and Dr. Suri also shared the top honors for this solution. There was another X-ray which was showing pneumomediastinum. It was actually mistaken as pneumopericardium by some people. Actually, it is not pneumopericardium but pneumomediastinum, because you can see the air is in the neck as well, and also you can see what's called the diaphragm sign. There is something which is a very newly discovered sign. You can see the continuity of the diaphragm, the right dome and the left dome are meeting at the midline, that you normally don't see because there is no air and you don't have a good contrast. That's why even though it's there, you don't see it because the heart is actually masking these things. So because of this, we can conclude that is mediastinum, air in the mediastinum. Another X-ray which is showing bilateral hilar adenopathy, calcification aorta, etc. And I think many people have diagnosed it correctly. So another of a child who is having ptosis and low upset ears, and the correct diagnosis was given by, I think, Vimla Puri. It is a very rare condition, and congrats to Vimla Puri for giving the right diagnosis. Another case of tongue where the dental indentations are present, also called scaffold tongue. And of course, we also got a good post by Dr. Soumya Metla. She is a neurologist working in Vijayawada. I'm glad that we have a good neurologist working nearby, and she has posted some details about neuro problems and how they can tackle it. And we know that Rishi Sunak, or Indian, or a person of Indian origin, has become the British PM. And there's a joke about this by Vishnu Bhatla, Venkateshwar Rao. Infosys acquires Britain not by law but by in-law. So that means that's another acquisition. Maybe our Indian type of approach can cure our English economy. Then the next day riddles, the medical riddle on Tuesday, I think. This is something which I thought it was a good puzzle, but nobody could make it out. As once a creature free, swimming in the mighty sea, until one day I became a prey, enslaved inside, never to flee. This is about the mitochondrion, because the mitochondrion, once upon a time, they were free creatures. They were actually what called prokaryocytes. That is, the nucleus was not well developed, like bacteria. And these were caught by the bigger called eukaryocytes, and they engulfed these bacteria, and then they became enslaved, and ever since they've been working for us. Within our, we can't imagine that every cell of a body has millions, or probably a lot of these mitochondria, which work for us and which are responsible for giving us the ATP, is the currency of energy. And then, of course, some basics about Newton's laws and about why do birds have different X chromosomes compared to humans. Comparative biology is something which is sometimes very useful, and there's a blast from the past, a picture of Antoine Luwak and a caption corner regarding a painting about which there were so many poems written. And there was a picture of our own Kapalititham, which is just about 1 kilometer from the residence of a place, Tirupati. This was recognized by many people. And another ultrasound where the gallbladder was shown when it was relaxed and when it was not relaxed. That means when it was contracted. the actual thickness of the gallbladder can be up to 3 millimeters, and in this view, it is 2.6, so it is normal. Many people have mistaken it as caused chronic cholecystitis. And there are some medical legal problems which we discussed, and then the money matters. Why the man? My question was why we should not legalize people from getting exported, like, because that is the greatest product that we have. Because it's a little bit controversial, but I think we should think about it. And why not? We're learning a lot from the medical field. Okay, now I am getting a few comments. Thank you, Dr. Shamla Nori Garu. I think in this group, everybody is a doctor. I don't distinguish between doctors and non-doctors, because everyone knows so much of health and medicine that they're eligible to be called doctors in this University of Health is Wealth. Shamla Nori, we are learning a lot about the medical field from the postings and trying to understand and put forth our opinions in the form of comments. Thank you, sir. So I'm actually very pleased that people like Shamla Nori and well-educated and well-experienced people like Madhumendapalli, Madhusudan Rao Garu are actually available for discussion. That's good information to all. Yes, this is thanks to Facebook, which we are able to do this. We are also on Instagram and on Telegram and also on LinkedIn. But there are fewer people there. But in case you are not a member of Facebook, you can go to that. And I'm also posting some of these medical riddles, etc., on WhatsApp and getting good response. So thank you all for joining. I think I have a few more posts to comment about. I'm almost at the end of my lecture or this feature. Yes. Now we have, I wanted to know the opinion of the members regarding our own Indian becoming a British PM, and jokes about heart failure. And because that day the issue was the problem about how the heart failure affects mitochondria, because mitochondria are powerhouse of the cell, as I said, which are actually once upon a time free living bacteria. So there are a lot of questions and answers, and I'm very glad many people participated in this contest. And then there was a medical riddle 6 days ago, which was given as starting from the top of a hill, rolling down like Jack and Jill, go down 1 meter, then out I peter, into how tail-like branches will. That means this is actually like an axon. Axon is not actually neuron, it's a part of neuron. Because the axon starts on what's called axon hill or hillock. And then it goes down and down, sometimes maybe even up to 1 meter long, for example, the leg. And its terminal, again, it divides into branches called dendrites. So that was the question, and many people gave the answer. And I'm very glad that many people participated and on the call. And here is some information about our invisible Dr. Akhil Pahade, who was the previous number 2. I mean, he almost got the prize, credit winner. He was number 2 credit winner in last week. He is actually working at Fortis Shalimar Bagh in Delhi. And he earlier worked in Silchar Medical College, I think it is in Bengal, I don't know, and Deen Dayal Upadhyay Hospital in New Delhi. So he's right now in North, but actually he had his studies in Trichur. I mean, Thrissur is the place where my brother works, a radiologist, so I don't know. Government Medical College Thrissur. I was very glad. I don't know why he went all the way from Thrissur to North Delhi, and maybe he belongs to Delhi, I don't know. And he got his seat in Thrissur by way of his NEET PG, I don't know. Anyway, I was happy to know all this from Akhil Pahade, who is a very enthusiastic and very good participant in our contests. I want to actually again thank all the people who. Okay, Rishi Sonak, it is okay. Anyway, I wanted to thank all the people who comment, also give their replies to various contests, and I'd like to get your feedback how to improve our group, and so also how to enlarge our group, because we right now have about 45,000 members, and I'm glad to say that ours is the most active group on Facebook, because I see that there are more than 500 posts a day and more than 5,000 reactions a day, and if you can count from past 5 years, there are more than 5 million views of our Facebook group, especially, and many people are participating in this group. And Chaganti Garu, yeah, thank you for correcting me. And Sharma Kunda, that's very nice. I actually, yeah, I'm very glad that I'm almost finishing my time. I think I passed this time, 30 minutes. And initially, I couldn't get a clear video because of I was waiting for the video to start automatically, but it didn't, so I had to do it manually. So there was some time gap, and I'm now winding up. I again congratulate Jalil for getting the 2,000 rupees prize, and I'm going to send him the money tomorrow by GPay. And I request everybody to participate in every contest that is posted on this group, because unless you participate in most of the contests, you cannot gather credits, because gathering credits is the main thing if you want to be the winner or one of the toppers of this credits, because it's a way of indirect learning. The rote learning is for people who are not brainy and they just get by heart all those things. But if you learn this way, you'll remember a lot. That's why it's useful. This group is meant for people who are more interested in knowledge about health and disease, and also how to treat, because it's useful for doctors as well as non-doctors, people, healthcare professionals, and for doctors, for patients, for people who want to know about their disease, if it is included in that. And some people are so curious about medicine, and probably they want to become doctors, but they couldn't. For them also, this is very useful. And NEET PG aspirants, that's people who are appearing for NEET PG, people who are appearing for USMLE, the clinical quiz is very useful. I request all of them to join in this group, and shortly we're going to start a rapid fire multiple choice question. It is mock test. In this way, within half an hour they have to answer 60 questions, so they have no time to look up in the Google and all. So the real persons who know the knowledge, have the knowledge in their brain, then they only can succeed. And this is a mock test, so no marks, prizes are for so anyone who gets it. It's only for practice. So this I'm going to start from November 1st. I'm glad to say, and I thank everyone who's come and left their comments below, and I want your reactions also, and also your feedback. Chaganti, thanks a lot for the pains taken for enlightening us. So, okay, it's not just for enlightening us, it's also for enlightening me in the process, because teaching is the best way of learning. As you teach, you learn. There's a poem by Bhartahari, I think. Among all the danas, it is Vidya Dana which is the greatest, because the more you give, the more you get, unlike other danas. So thank you very much, and I am now bidding you all good night and happy the next week, and I thank every participant. Thank you very much. Good night. Bye for now.